Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Clean Greens Living, broadcasted here live on Rainier Avenue Radio. It is your host, Queen Bri. Welcome to this beautiful Tuesday. I see the sun is trying to squeeze its way out of the clouds. I'm so excited. We at Clean Greens acknowledge that we are on traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Coast Salish past, present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish, Snoqualmish, Nisqually, Snoqualmie, and Muckleshoot tribes. We also acknowledge what has happened on this land to impact the lives of our Black community in Seattle due to redlining. If you are a family that has been impacted in this city due to redlining, please contact us at www.blackdollardaytaskforce.org and tell us your story and tell us how, give us ideas on how we can help fight for the rights to get reparations for that. All right. Announcements. We are signing kids up right now for our youth program. So if you are interested and you have a youth that is age 5 to 18, please sign them up. We have this beautiful new garden that we have available for them to learn how to grow their own produce, and learn to how to be in community and give to their community and show up for their community. We also have our grand opening coming up. So save the date for July 1st from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Our season opening. It is our seasoning opening, but a grand opening at the Amy Yee Garden. So how exciting. That'll be again July 1st. CSA signups are still happening. If you would like to be a CSA, those of you who always ask, what is a CSA? A CSA is a community supported agriculture. That means you who live in our city pays for your produce ahead of the season. We grow the produce for you and you pick it up throughout the season. Our CSA is a CSA that gives back. So not only are you getting fresh organic vegetables for your family, you're also helping us provide another family with the same beautiful fresh organic vegetable fresh out the farm from Duval. We have a single share, a small share, and a large share. We have shares for all. Um, so I'm excited to have our guest on today. Our guest is Paris Yates, who is the urban systems manager for the Seattle. I was doing so well until I started saying his name. Okay, hey Paris. Why don't we bring Paris on? He is from the Urban Food Systems of City of Seattle. He is the manager. He is the one who helped get us connected to our city gardens, and we are excited to have him on today. Hey, Paris, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I
There we
was
go.
muted. There we go. I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Look at you out in the beautiful garden. I'm assuming you're at a
I am
garden.
I'm at Seward Park, my office. There we go. The garden in the
Nice.
background. Um yes, I'm in my office today.
Nice. I wanted to broadcast from Amy Yee, but I got to get the good headphones so people can't hear outside of what's going on there. Getting out there in nature. So, okay, let's talk about the urban food system. Tell us about your position and what you guys do.
I am the manager for the Urban Food Systems program. Technically, my title is Senior Planning and Development Specialist, which is a mouthful for most people. So we have shortened it to manager. But the Urban Food Systems program, it has been around for, I think 2014 will be our 10-year anniversary. I've been with UFS for about 7 years. And what UFS is basically it's a collection of um, community gardens, which you all have our newest one, and public orchards that are located on Seattle parks and recreation land, right? So I'm getting a little in the weeds here, but City of Seattle, right? So everybody knows the city of Seattle. Within the city of Seattle, there's all kinds of departments, right? There's police department, there's Parks and Recreation, there's SPU, right? Um,
Hmm.
SPR, the Parks Department, um, is one of the departments in the city of Seattle. It's one of the biggest in terms of employees. And we also are the largest land manager of the city. So SPR manages roughly 11% of all of the city of Seattle land, right, in the boundaries. And most of that is parks, right? Built parks. We all know what parks are. And then there's natural areas also. Natural areas probably comprise of the most amount of land. Biggest one would be like the East Duwamish Green Belt, those kind of things. And then on that property, SPR, like I said, we have a series of public orchards and community gardens that are on SPR land. There are also pea patches on SPR land, but the pea patch program and urban food systems programs are different. And I
Nice. Look,
You want me to explain the difference? So the main difference is the P patch programs are designed really for individuals. So like if you live in a neighborhood in Seattle and you want to grow food for your individual use, an individual, what I mean is like, you know, your family, your personal community. Then there's a P patch program. Urban food systems programs, with our gardens, we partner with community organizations like Clean Greens, to grow food for the community that the organization represents, right? So Clean Greens, you all have a farm, right? So the gardens that UFS provides is not enough to sustain your
yeah.
your robust CSA program. Um, but we do grow food, and they're also good to do programming in, which I know you guys are utilizing a lot of, right? So, and there's all kinds of programming, right? There's demonstration gardens, there's programming with schools, there's all kinds of programming that we do with these communities. And then there are some communities who utilize it to grow specific things, right? So like we have Southeast Asian community who grow certain plants and vegetables that are utilized by their community, right? To distribute through the community.
Nice. Look, all I hear is the birds chirping, and I'm just over here like, I need to be out in nature. But
You're
no,
like,
that
so
is
I've been in meetings all no, I've been in meetings all day, and you're about the third person who says all I hear is the birds in the That's why I put on the headphones. But yeah, that's why I'm down
no,
here.
that's
Like, yes, the birds are great. This is a great office.
no, yeah, it is. It is. And yeah, the garden we have doesn't serve for our CSA, but it does serve our mission, which is to teach and bring education around eating healthy. So we definitely appreciate this space. And I don't know if you've been back since. So the last couple of weeks, I want to say April, the last weekends of April, the first, was it all weekends of April? We were there.
Mhm, mhm.
Look, we tried to help. The city did a lot. Thank you. It looks so beautiful. I'm gonna get those pictures to Daniel this week, so next week you guys can see like the start and to where we're at now. It's not finished, but it's just a whole difference between last year and this year and what it looks like. And even since we did Earth Day, Demarcus has spread more bark where you said it was supposed to go so that we can plant some more. So we're super excited about our new space. We are fortunate to have two spaces we're operating out right now. One is the Amy Yee that we just opened up, and the other one is South Shore that's behind the South Shore Middle School. I mean, Rainier Beach Community Center, which is behind South Shore School. And we are out there. We just started this week working with that school to for the students to grow and learn in that garden. So for there's first graders, second graders, and kindergartners that we're working with out there. So we appreciate the space. We are excited about the space, and we are out there. If you guys are even out there at the at the garden center out at South Shore, there's so many lemon balms growing out there. You guys should go take some and try some recipes with the lemon balm herbs. So you have these urban gardens in the city, and you're partnering with people like us and people in the community who just lives in the community and want to start a pea patch. How do they get started? Like, how was this? How did this even come about? First of all,
S- Um, so so that is a good question. And that is basically what we are trying to um how do I say make clear through our public facing channels, our being SPR public facing channels. So when the program started 10 years ago, it was mainly the gardens were mainly designed to be utilized by the community center population. So a lot of our older gardens are located at community centers, right? Rainier Beach Learning Garden, where you guys are at now, is a good example, right? And how that garden got built, it was a partnership, a grant partnership between um, SPR, South Shore School, and Seattle Tilt, which is Tilt Alliance now. Um, Built that garden. The intention was for the community centers to utilize it for a lot of different reasons. The community centers just didn't really have the capacity to um, really to maintain the gardens or do the programming right. So about 5 years ago we made a decision to open these gardens up to community organizations like yourself, um, because um, the theory was that they had more capacity to maintain the garden and to do programming. And so that's kind of what we've been doing ever since. Um, how do folks get to us? Um, Fortunately and unfortunately, folks have just been coming to me, right? Or I have been personally reaching out to folks, that I know of, hear of. And that's how I got in contact with you, right? So
yeah,
about 6 or 7 years ago, UFS did a summer program with Clean Greens out at your farm out in Duval. And, you know, COVID happened, all kinds of stuff happened. And we needed folks to utilize these spaces, right? One being at Rainier Beach, we have other places. So I contacted Clean Greens, got in contact with you. Um, and, it's been a process. That was like 2 years ago when we
yeah, it
first
was.
started talking, um, to sort of get to the point of, opening this new garden, right? About you guys have been at Rainier Beach for about a year and
Hmm.
but probably going on 2 years now. But the process has just kind of been word of mouth and or organizations that SPR UFS has worked with in the past. But like I said, we are really trying to open that up so that you don't have to know me or anyone, right? We're trying to basically set a define a process and then like put it on our websites, put it on our social media, right? So that folks who don't know me can go through the process, right? And some of it too is actually sort of setting up a process. Um, the process that we went through with you all, and then we've had processes before with other organizations. You know, there was a lot of, I guess, trust on your
Mm.
part that,
It was. I look. I had abundance of faith and trust in you. People were starting to question me, but I had nothing but abundance of faith that it was going to happen.
and it did, and a lot of what we went through in that process will inform the actual document, right? So we are the city of Seattle. Everything we run, everything we do is based on some sort of policy written down and documented, filed away somewhere. So that's kind of what we're working on. And I can't thank you enough to just for sticking in there and trusting, right? So like
Yeah.
I said, we've gone through this before with other organizations, and um the outcome was not what either one of us really expected, right? Which informed
Mm.
how I did it with you all. But yes, we are almost at the point where it is going to be put on paper and actually become policy.
Nice. It is. You guys. It's a process. And like you said, you have to have trust. I know one person when we finally started doing movement this year was like, I didn't think. I didn't. I'm sorry. I have to apologize. I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think you could pull it off. And it's like, it's just about communication and trusting and knowing, being true to who you are and what you want to do. So, look, as much as you appreciate us, we appreciate you. We've been able to do so much with these gardens. Like last year, South Shore, our youth were able to grow produce that they were able to take home. They were able to swap recipes. We learned different cultures. Everybody looks at us and see our black skin and assume we're all from the same culture. And no, we all have different cultures. And so we were able to learn about it. So learn about growing fresh food, learning about what culturally appropriate food to grow, and swapping recipes. So it's been fun. And I know the kids are going to be excited to move to a bigger location. I feel like I want to do some kind of graduation with them. Like, you guys have graduated to the bigger urban farm location. Um, what does the city want to see with these locations? Like, what is the well, what do you want to see with what we got going on here?
So So what you're talking about basically is multicultural programming and education, right? So
Hmm.
City of Seattle, um, a big policy that guides us is the Equity and Environment Initiative that the City of Seattle has, and it basically prioritizes um, equity and inclusion, right? So histories of cities. We don't have to go into them, but a lot of the policy was designed to um, restrict, right, and to keep folks who look like you and I and come from spaces that you and I come from, to keep us out, right, to keep us out
Yeah.
of parks, right, and to restrict how we move on city land, right. The and what is it, Equity and Environment Initiative, and a lot of different city policies that I don't need to get into here now, um, is designed to repair that, right? To question that and to repair it. So and that goes through every service that the city of Seattle has, right? From the police department to public utilities to public land management, which is SPR. In terms of SPR services, um, sort of the official working language that UFS sort of uh, goes by is, we are here to provide access to communities to grow healthy, nutritious food for their communities, right? With an emphasis on equity, which is BIPOC folks, right? Um, and not just providing access to land, but bringing them to our table, right? So I'm looking at the time, so I'm gonna rush this real quick. But one of the reasons why Clean Greens, um, why I sort of pulled you guys into this is because of your organization, right? Because you all have been around for decades, right? I know that you guys grow food, and I also know that your organization can deal with our organization, right?
Yeah,
You guys are a 501. You have grant experience. You have experience dealing with the city of Seattle, right? And um, dealing with the bureaucracy, right? You guys can get in there um, when other folks get frustrated and leave, right?
yeah,
Because you know how to deal with the city, you can deal with that bureaucracy. So that's another sort of thing that I'm looking for is yes, we are going to provide folks, who are, you don't have to be a big organization to get access to food growing spaces in Seattle. Um, However, with UFS, we are looking for those types of partners, and particularly looking for um, organizations that are led by BIPOC people, right? Black, Indigenous, people of color,
mhm,
organizations like yourself, to bring them to our table, right? And when I say to our table, I mean the city of Seattle table, right? When we are developing these policies, um, when we are making landscape management decisions, and for local nonprofits, when you all are applying for grants, um, it's good for you all to have us, right? To say that we are working with the
yeah.
city of Seattle. And it's also good for the city of Seattle to say that, hey, we are working with these organizations. We have direct contact with them. Like it's not a third party thing. So um, that's kind of what we're looking for.
Nice. If you're just tuning in, you're tuning into Clean Greens Living Live, broadcasted on Rainier Avenue Radio. I'm your host, Queen Bri, and I'm here with Paris Yates from Urban Food Systems with City of Seattle, and we're just talking about the partnership we have with the Urban Food. I just forgot what I just systems, Urban Food Systems (UFS). Um,
Just say UFS because most
UFS.
people have a hard time saying urban food system.
Right. Like
Even me
you want to
sometimes.
make it make sense too. Right. And then
Yeah.
too, a lot of the times we equate City of Seattle with parks, and parks, even though we're in parks, Urban Food Systems is its own entity. So, okay, Paris, you are out here creating these spaces for people, Black and Indigenous people, and we appreciate you. But you have a space that is a beautiful space that you're growing in. So, what are some things that you're growing in your space?
Um, the space that I'm here right now, can you see where I'm going? My space. So this garden is down in River Park, is down in the hatchery, and there's certain things like big sort of bushes back there. There's certain things. So this started out as a medicinal garden.
Mm-hmm.
So we have what do we have comfrey down here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with
We
comfrey. We have
Yes, we ours grow
mullein.
out of. Mhm.
Yeah, we have so there's a lot of that different stuff down there. There's mint, and then we are installing the plants, right? So I don't know if you guys have mentioned UFS. We have a partnership with Cleveland High School this year, and they are growing our plant starts in their greenhouse. And so
Nice.
so yeah, so right now there's some carrots, there's some collard greens, um, that I just planted yesterday. There's some garlic down there. There's I don't say no to a lot of to anything really. So whatever I get my hands on, I just kind of stick it in there. But like, yeah, this garden we kind of call it the healing garden down here because it goes with the vibe, right? With the
It
birds and
does.
yeah.
The
Um, and
nature.
and and this so the folks who were down here before, they're called Algonex Farm, and they're basically a black and indigenous led farm. And then this space in particular, the hatchery, um, has a deep sort of coastal Salish history. I don't know how many of your viewers have been down to Seward Park, but like it was a big, before before the city of Seattle came in and commendated the land, there was a lot of indigenous activity down here. They were the um, the main stewards and managers of this land. So yes, there are definitely so I'll say this: there are still plants and stuff that are left over from the time that they managed it.
Nice. And shout out to Cleveland High School because we have some of their starts in our urban garden. And we thank them and your partnership with them for providing us that produce. And we grow comfrey. Comfrey is wild out in Duval. And
Really? Okay.
yeah, and Christina and Demarcus are supposed to be working on a plan for us to bring some to the city. It's just like so much of it just growing freely in front of our greenhouse out there.
And I'm like trying to figure out what to do with it, right?
Hmm.
So the other thing that grows really well down here are mushrooms. So
Hmm.
um Pacific Northwest, we grow a lot. A lot of folks don't realize this, but we grow like people come from all over the earth to come pick mushrooms here in the Pacific Northwest. So there's a lot of different mushrooms that we grow down here. Hopefully, there will be some bees down here
Yes.
soon.
Yes, we are in the
There's
midst of plants. Oh, it's time. There
it's
will be
time.
bees down there soon. Thank you, Paris, for showing up and giving us information on UFS. And I also want to let the viewers know that a brand new show beginning Thursday at 1 p.m. called Wise Action will be coming to Rainier Avenue Radio, hosted by Johnny Buck, and Nicolette Worrell on climate and environmental justice. So you guys check it out. And thank you, Paris, for coming in. We appreciate you and Urban Food Systems. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in. See you later.